In this video, we're going to look at how Jerry Garcia would approach and adapt Bob Dylan's Simple Twist of Fate. The first Jerry version I heard was from 6/26/82, a solo show with Jerry Garcia and John Kahn. I instantly fell in love with the song, and as many would agree with me, no one covered Bob Dylan like Jerry. First things first, let's take a look at the chords for this song. The chord progression is a 16-bar progression that repeats throughout the song. The only variation is the tag at the end, which I labeled coda on the chart. The first 5 chords are a variation of a common chord progression, similar to the Beatles' Something and Stevie Wonder's Evil. Alright, the Beatles' Something goes C, C major 7, C7, then to F, and Stevie Wonder's Evil is C, C major 7, C7, F with C in the bass, F minor with C in the bass. So these chords are 1, 1 major 7, 1 dominant 7, 4, and then in some cases 4 minor. Alright, Simple Twist of Fate, however, starts with 2 bars of the 1 chord. So we're in the key of D. And then we have 2 bars of F sharp minor. And that's why I said a variation. The 3 chord is a substitution for the 1 chord. If we were to take an F sharp minor triad and put a D in the bass and make that the root, we would have 1, 3, 5, 7. So we would have a major 7 chord. So that's why I said this is a variation of that. 1, 1 major 7, 1 dominant 7, 4, and then 4 minor. Alright, so after we have 2 bars of D, 2 bars of F sharp minor, then we have 2 bars of D7, followed by 2 bars of G, and then we have 2 bars of G minor. So we can call this 4 minor. And the fancy word for what's going on here is modal interchange, which is when we borrow chords from a parallel tonality, in this case a parallel minor key, D natural minor. So let's look at the triads built from both D major and D natural minor. In D major we have D, E minor, F sharp minor, G, A, B minor, C sharp diminished, and back to D. In D natural minor we have D minor, E diminished, F, G minor, A minor, B flat, C, and back to D minor. Alright, so this G minor is not a modulation because we are not spending enough time on the chord to establish a new key center. In the next measure, we are back using chords from D major. Unless we count the D to D sus4 move in bar 15, this is the only measure that has more than 1 chord in it. So D, half a bar of D, half a bar of F sharp minor, then we have a full measure of G. So our final 4 measures go D to G with A in the bass to D, D sus4, and D. Alright, to some of you, this G with A in the bass may be a new chord. So this is our 5 chord. We are basically going 1, 5, 1, or D, A, D. But instead of a plain A chord or even an A7 chord, Jerry chooses to use this G over A chord, which really gives us an A sus sound without a third. So we have the root, flat 7, 9th, 11th, or 4th. And even sometimes, I think you can hear that open E string, which would be the 5th. But we still have no third, so. And then back to D. Then we have D sus4 and D. And that's our walk up. It's open 5th string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Alright, Jerry uses this D chord, which which is out of the C cade shape. So we have our C chord. If we were to rearrange our fingers, move it up 2 frets, and then add our index finger. So it's like a capo. We have our D chord. And then he alternates with the 5th frets of the 5th string and 6th string. So we have our D in the bass, then our A in the bass. Alright, so in the early years, in the late 70s, when Jerry would play this song, he would use a pick for the rhythm and for everything. But then later on, he would use his fingers for, the intro, the verses, but then a pick for the solos. So for this lesson, for the intro and the verse, I'm gonna go finger style, so kind of the later versions. Alright, so first let's start with just the chords. So we have 2 bars of D. Alright, so we alternate between the 5th fret of the 5th and 6th strings. So we have our root, 5th bass movement, and we're playing swung 8th notes, and we have so notice that we have bass, then chord, and then we land on the chord with some emphasis. And then so it's down. So if we were thinking with a pick, we'd have downstroke, upstroke, downstroke with some emphasis, and then upstroke. Switch the bass notes. So work on that till that feels comfortable. So we have 2 bars of D, and then we do 2 bars of F sharp minor. So now our bass notes are the 2nd fret of the 6th string, F sharp, and the 4th fret of the 5th string, C sharp. Alright, then we have our D7 chord. So it's like a C7 chord, but we move it up 2 frets, and we're in D. So we're not going to play the open E string. And we have the same 2 bass notes, the 5th frets of the 5th and 6th strings. Alright, then we have our G chord. And as you know, Jerry often played it with the thumb in the bass, and this is going to be important so that we can get this sus4 in there. So it's our pinky playing the 5th fret of the 3rd string. So we're just going to use the 3rd fret of the 6th string as our bass. And then he would occasionally add in that 5th fret of the 3rd string. So we have and then we would take off our middle finger and just bar the 3rd frets of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. Again, we would have our ring finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then our thumb on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. 3rd fret of the 6th string is our bass for that. Alright, then we had D, F sharp minor, to G, and then D, G over A, and then back to D. And before we had the walk up, Jerry would usually do something to create some sort of movement between a D and a D sus4. Alright, and one that I wrote out is Alright, so what we have is we're holding our D shape, and then we're going to play the 5th fret of the 5th string, 3rd fret of the 2nd, 4th fret of the 4th, 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So holding the D shape, we just play 5, 2, 4, 3. And then we're going to hammer on 4th to 5th fret on the 4th string, back to 4th. Then we're going to lift off our index finger, play the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and hammer that onto the 3rd fret. And then we play our 5th fret of the 5th string, our D. And then we have our walk up. Alright, so that's what Jerry would play during the verses. So for the intro, he would use the chord shapes and improvise melodies. So I wrote out a sample one for you. This is based off the Double Live Jerry Garcia Band album, and it sounds like this. Alright, so we start off walking up. So open, 2nd, 4th on the 5th string, and then we land on that 5th fret of the 5th string, our D. And sometimes you can hear he'll play an A lightly after the B, then C sharp, D. So we have D, then 2 more times. Then we have the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, back to 5th fret of the 4th string. Then we have the 4th fret of the 4th string. Then we have, so we're playing 3rd fret on the 2nd, 2nd fret on the 3rd, 4th fret on the 4th. Walking back up to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Then we lightly play the 4th fret on the 4th string. Then we're going to play 2nd, hammer on 3rd, pull off 2nd on the 2nd string. Alright, then we have our F sharp minor. Shape is right here. So 4th fret on the 4th string, then a muted note, then we have the 4th fret on the 5th, 4th fret on the 4th, 2nd fret on the 3rd, back to 4th fret on the 4th. Then we're going to play the 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string, 3rd, 2nd. Then we have the 4th fret on the 5th string, 5th fret on the 5th string. So 4th on the 5th, 5th on the 5th. Now we're in our D7 shape, and we have so that's the 4th fret on the 4th string, 5th fret on the 5th, and 5th fret on the 3rd. Then again we play the 5th on the 5th, 5th on the 3rd, and we're going to slide the 5th fret of the 4th string up to the 7th fret of the 4th string, and play the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So we're sliding up to the A, that's the 5th of D, and F sharp, that's the major 3rd. So after we slide up and play the 7th frets of the 4th and 2nd strings, we slide back down to the 5th fret, then we play 5th fret on the 4th, 5th fret on the 2nd, 5th fret on the 4th, then we have the 3rd fret on the 2nd, 4th fret on the 3rd, and we're in our G shape. We're going to play the 5th fret on the 4th string, then we're going to pull off 5 to 4 on the 3rd string, that's our sus4, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then our 3rd fret on the 1st string, G, 4th fret on the 3rd, 3rd fret on the 2nd, 5th fret on the 4th, and then 3rd fret on the 2nd. That's D, and now we're on G minor, and we play this. So after we play the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and we slide the 5th on the 4th to the 8th on the 4th, that's B flat, the flat 3rd of G minor. Then we're going to play the 8th fret on the 2nd string and pull that off to the 6th fret. So we're going between the G and the F, or the root and the minor 7th. And we have... pull that off the 8th fret to the 7th fret on the 2nd string, F sharp, that's our D, then we're playing 7th fret on the 2nd, the 6th fret on the 3rd, and that's out of our F sharp minor shape, so we have this F sharp minor triad. Then we're going to play our G shape on the 3rd fret, and we play 5th fret of the 4th string, 4th fret on the 3rd, 2nd fret of the 2nd and 1st string, slide down to the 2nd fret of the 1st string, then we have 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 4th fret pull off to open on the 3rd string, then 4th fret on the 4th string twice, and 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That's out of our D shape. Alright, so we have this kind of turnaround phrase. It sounds like this. It's 4th fret of the 4th string, hammer on to 5th fret of the 4th string, then 4th fret on the 4th, then we have 2, 4, 2 on the 4th, 4th fret on the 5th string, then the same note but muted, then we're going to walk up our D chord, so 5th fret on the 5th, 4th fret on the 4th, 2nd fret on the 3rd, 3rd fret on the 2nd. Then we have the 5th fret on the 4th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd and 2nd strings, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and that's our D sus4.